and welcome to Getting Set, a basic high school level set design course. I'm your instructor, Jason McIntyre. In this lesson, we'll be discussing the research and development that should go into your set design. Now, we'll be talking about dramatic plays instead of musicals, and dramatic plays are usually referred to as straight plays, but this is the only time in the lesson you will hear me refer to them as such for a variety of reasons. So you basically know the mechanics of how to draw or design your set, but where's the inspiration come from? Where's the heart? Where's the design? I mean, you're given a script, then what? Some scripts give you all of the important information you will need and more. Take, for example, Samuel French's publication of Neil Simon's The Odd Couple. On the first 2 pages of this script, we are given detailed information about the location and the setting. We know what time of year it is. We know what time of day or evening the scenes take place. We even know where and when this show was first performed. But it doesn't end there. On the last 14 pages of the script, we are given a detailed list of props for all 3 acts. And they're broken down by location of where they're put on the set. There's a ground plan in here. And there's a small autobiography about Mr. Simon himself. Now, this is one way to start out. This is great. I mean, the information's clear and it's precise. The other way is where you have to go through the script to get the information page by page. Take, for example, Christmas Carol, A Ghost Story of Christmas. Here it is up to the reader to discern the necessary scenic information through the italicized text in the script. Now, it's also here that I should tell you that you should never write in your script with anything other than a pencil, because the publishing company could want the scripts back at the end of the production for whatever reason, or the director may want to reuse the scripts. So I suggest that you make a copy of your script and then you can go to town setting up your markings. Now, I suggest that you read through the script the first time without making any notes, even if there's a scene breakdown. Give yourself the opportunity to understand the content and the context of the script. Then, when I go through and read it a second time, that's when I start going to town with my notes and my markings. Now, in order to keep things clear for me, I use a highlighter. I use a yellow for scenery, I use pink for props, and I use blue for lights and sound. Now, even though I've read all the way through my script twice, I still haven't started my research. What I have started is a listed notes for the director. Well, usually it's just 1. Are we doing the show as written? Now, this is very important because the director could be looking to shift the time period in order to make it more relevant or to update it. The director could be looking to change the actual location of where the show is set in order to make it more relevant to the audience. But for this lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to keep things as written. So for Christmas Carol, we're going to be in mid to late 19th century London, and for The Odd Couple, we're going to be in New York City during the 1960s at the Riverside Drive Apartments. Alright, so before we go headfirst down the internet rabbit hole clicking on images, I suggest that we start by researching the playwright or the author. Find out when they were born, where they lived, what was going on politically at the time, who were the popular artists or what were the popular styles at that time, and why did they write the play or the story. Believe me, this will help you to decide which direction your design should head in. Should it be hyper-realistic, postmodern, industrial, or even whimsical? Now, equipped with the background information on the playwrights, you can submerge yourself into researching specific locations. Now, Christmas Carol, A Ghost Story of Christmas Time, has several locations represented throughout the play. London, during the 19th century, the 1800s, had a wide range of architectural styles specific to the geographical region and socioeconomic status. So Marley's house is going to be in a different location and look very different compared to Scrooge and Marley's office. Likewise, Cratchit's home is going to be in a more impoverished area of London and look very different than the other two. So on the flip side of that, we have The Odd Couple. The Odd Couple in 1960s New York City, the exterior of the buildings could look identical to the exterior of a New York City building today. So basically we start with our exterior environment, immersing ourselves in the world that our characters will live in, looking at the stone, the brick, the steel, the timber, and the iron, looking at the plant life, the signage, even the garbage. We look at door styles, window styles, even the sidewalks. All of these things have a specific aesthetic that is related to the time period and the geographic location that we're trying to design in. Even the paint treatments we choose have a bearing on the time period and location that we're trying to communicate. So we do our best to convey a convincing design to the director, to the actors, and to the audience, all based on our research. Now that we've done that, we can move inside. Knowing that the time period that we're in, the art and the style of that period can be critical in order to create a believable atmosphere. The accessories and decor of the 1800s that are available to an average household are going to look very different compared to the accessories and decor that are available to an average household during the 1900s. So the props list and the ground plan contained in The Odd Couple, that is just a jumping off point for what we're doing with the interior. We don't know how tall the walls are. We don't even know what's on the walls for that matter. What is really the style of furniture that we're looking for? Or what do the floors, the doors, or the windows even look like? Now don't get me wrong, the ground plan for The Odd Couple is a great example of a box or static set. We as the audience never leave this apartment once the show starts. And based on the descriptions in the script by the playwright, he wants the audience to be in that apartment. So, where do we start? We start by researching 1960s New York City Riverside Drive apartments. Now, be very careful of what you type in as your search engine. Make sure you're looking at a New York City apartment and not a Yorktown, Pennsylvania apartment. Once you're comfortable with your apartment search in your search engine, then you can look for period art pieces, furniture, and accessories that will go into your setting. Now, all these practices and principles apply no matter what the time period is and no matter what the region is. Just be specific about what you're looking for. Don't type in London factories. You're going to get lost. Make sure that you type in 19th century Lower East End London industrial factories. See what I mean? Alright, so now you've got all this research information. What do you do with it? Well, there's a couple of ways to handle that. One way is to create a catalog or a spreadsheet of all your design images. So maybe you start with the interiors and the exteriors and you label next to them what scene they're for or what location they're meant to represent. And then you can go into the furniture or the hardware and just show your design process that way. Another way to do it is to go into a digital collage. Go into Photoshop, take all your research, cut and paste that together, and create a rough sketch of where your design is headed. Now this is a great way to show the director and the design team what you've been up to and where you're going. You could also just go old school and make photocopies of everything and do an old school cut and paste and handle the medium that way. So maybe you're not finding everything that you want, right? So maybe it's time to take a break, take a walk, and take a few pictures. Look for those visuals that convey your design idea in a more general way. Now the other way to handle this is going to come with a heavy warning, right? So the internet can provide us with images of productions that may relate to the current project that we're working on. But now we get into inspiration versus plagiarism. It's okay to find images that motivate or inspire your design, don't get me wrong. Find those styles that you like or those styles that spark your imagination. But don't just blatantly copy someone else's design. No matter how tempting it is, no matter what the reason, just don't do it. Now look, there are those that have spent years and years on their education becoming a set designer. They have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. They spend months and months and sometimes even a year or more on one set design. Don't disrespect their efforts and their training by trying to pass their design off as your own. Now, like I said, don't get me wrong, it's okay to be inspired by another designer's works. You can look at their work, you can see how they overcame a challenge, you can admire their technique, but it's never okay just to jack somebody else's design. Now, look, being a set designer isn't easy, and sometimes it's even scary. I mean, we work with other people that are going to interact with our design. We work with people that are going to like our design. We work with people that are literally going to use our design as a backdrop for their design. But trust me, there are very few feelings that compare to being in an audience on opening night and hearing their reaction, their applause, and sometimes even that silence of wonder as the curtain opens or the lights come up and they see what you've created. So give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance to do something that you never thought you could do. Give yourself a chance to be someone you never thought you could be. And give the world a chance to see how really, truly creative you are. I mean, that's what theater's about, right? Thank you for joining me for this lesson. And until next time,